Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't. Remember when you had to like spam cities and say need a tank, need a tank, need a tank during the Burning Crusade days? You don't remember that because now you just push a button that says go to the dungeon. You don't want to do that.
All right, so Ralph, what are we doing today, man?
So what I reckon we'll do is we'll just log into Classic WoW, we'll play for a few hours, and then we'll just like shit out some lazy impressions. What do you think?
Cool. Well, we got like, an hour, so like we should be able to
Should
get
be
it quick
enough
and
to-
we'll be
yeah.
fine. Yeah, let's do it. Hello, everybody. WoW is upon us, okay?
WoW
Now,
Classic.
I was just like, I thought this day was never going to come, man. It's come, and my God, it has come a lot. That does not sound
Okay,
right.
wow.
But like, let's face it, like, it has been, over the last 24 hours, it has been what everyone, like, it's all over Twitter, it's all over Reddit, like, it's completely just taken, like, all the communities.
It
I'm
has.
blown away by how giant a game that came out, 15 years ago is when it comes out again.
You've got to come back with me.
Where?
Back to the future.
Okay, so let's talk by the numbers first. So let's look at Twitch viewership. So WoW peaked at a concurrent 1.1 or 1.2 million viewers on Twitch.
Yep.
That's insane. That actually makes it the largest new release game by Twitch viewership this year.
Sure.
That's absolute madness for an MMORPG.
More than
the game.
Anthem? No. Couldn't
No,
be.
it's tough. It's
Couldn't be,
a
man.
real competition.
I got
you
my
know?
hand up, everybody.
But I mean, you're talking about a game that came out 15. It's MMORPG, which everyone's like dead genre. It's subscription based, dead business model. It's from Blizzard, dead company.
Yeah.
And like you're talking about 1.2 million viewers on day one, and that's absolutely insane. So Asmongold, he's the largest WoW streamer by a country mile. When the servers were just going live, he peaked at 300,000 viewers. I think Sodapoppin as well had like 100,000. It was just, you literally had like 400,000 views in 2 streams. Asmon was going really large for a while until all of a sudden this happened.
Okay, where's the rest of these mobs? Oh,
No, got disconnected.
I'm getting back in
Me
as fast as I
too.
can.
Okay, getting back in.
Oh my god.
Just says population high now. Interesting.
Cause you had a bad day, you're taking one down, you sing a sad song.
So guys, I think Illidan really sums up Blizzard's readiness for this launch.
You are not prepared. Be prepared.
Good old Illidan. Is there anything he can't do? What a good bloke he was.
Well, he can't say. He can't say.
He-
Okay, that's something he can't do.
He can't say.
Okay.
That's very true. So look, obviously, I think it's fair to say that Blizzard were not prepared for how ridiculously over-the-top successful this turned out to be.
Yeah.
We're talking about queues for most high-population servers in the vicinity of 20,000
That's
people.
an hour, roughly, Ralph was saying. I didn't even bother trying because
Yes.
I know the meme of how big these queues were. An hour per roughly 1,000. So 1,000 people is going to probably be an hour. I mean, how long did you wait?
So, I logged on at 8 a.m, which is when the servers went live, 8 a.m. Sydney time. And because I was working on other things, I was working on my Remnant review that day, and I was like, I'm not really going to play much, but I'll log in just to like do whatever. I logged in at 8 a.m. It was a 7,000 person queue for the Oceanic Realm, and then I got in at around about 5 o'clock. or 4 o'clock, I think.
So that is
roughly.
8 hours.
Yep, for 7,000 people, and I was playing for 20 minutes, and then the server crashed, and then I was back in queue at the very
Oh,
beginning.
so it didn't give you that 2-minute grace thing.
It did give me 2 minutes grace, but because it took me so long to reconnect to the
Yeah.
server, I lost that, which is exactly what happened to Asmongold.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I lost my place, and so I had to go, and I'm like, this is it, baby, I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back. This takes me back. You know what I
I
mean?
look at this and go 2 things. Number one, I don't think that they were prepared for the success that this game was going to have, but I really think it comes down to no one had to buy this game again. Now there are, people had to download the client and they had to, register their names. But apart from that, it might have been hard for Blizzard to really know how many people would have actually jumped on the first day,
It would have been tough, but they could have told, some people download the client, people could have created their names early. I think overall, we have to give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt here and say, I'm sure they did not expect this to be as big as it did end up being. But at the same time, I do think they could have done some extra stuff. So for example, the Oceanic Realms, there's one Oceanic PvP server.
Yeah.
One
PvE.
server.
Who the hell plays on fucking PvE,
There's
man?
like 8 current Oceanic PvP servers in Battle for Azeroth, and no one fucking plays Battle for Azeroth, right? And there's 8 of those servers. Like, the idea they had one and they thought, that should be enough, mate, she'll be right. Like, that's ridiculous. They went on to create another 2 Oceanic PvP servers as a result.
Now there's 3
completely
more,
out of
isn't there?
control. No, there's only they added 2. So
now
now
there's
there's
2.
3.
Oh, and now there's 3. Okay, cool.
My point with all of this is that, obviously there were going to be problems, but the solution comes quite late for a lot of people. Because people have already set up their characters and their names. They've already organized with their guilds and they said, this is where we're going to play. They've done their thing, right? And so now people can't all of a sudden pick up and change to another realm. I know it sounds like, it's just one day of progress, who cares? But people who spent, hours in queue and they logged in and they played 14 hours to level up their character and they're racing to 60, that's a big sacrifice to lose one day of progress when you're this excited and you want to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Look, I agree with you. I just think it's too late. There's too many people that have, you're right, set up the communities. Not to mention, you're really asking not one person to move, but 40,
Entire
50
guilds.
people all have to agree to move. So it is too late. I do think that, they can, maybe a few people that have jumped on, on the weekend, which has not hit yet. Imagine the queues on the weekend.
weekends is going to be absolutely
It's going to be absolutely ridiculous to see what those queues are going to be. I really think they underestimated their success because, I remember when they were saying at BlizzCon, they obviously didn't even believe in this product, potentially, that this was a thing. They brought it out thinking, look, this might be something for a while, but it's just going to be a giant meme, and it's been proven wrong.
Yeah, look, Blizzard themselves have said that they do expect massive player drop-off. There's going to be a lot of tourists at the beginning who just kind of log in and they're like, oh yeah, this is what I remember it is. I'm not interested in this, thank you very much.
That
and then
probably
they move
includes
on.
us too, I know you were a hardcore fan, but there's so many other games and you're playing FF14 now. I think hardcores and casuals might fall into that kind of category.
Look, my plan is certainly to hit 60 because I'd like to do MC, I'd like to do BWL. And I guess we'll come back to the sort of the appeal of WoW later in the discussion. But, I do think it's a case of they've underestimated success here. They could have done more. I think we need to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think we need to be understanding and be like, look, it's not the end of the world that you fucked this up, Blizz. We get it.
Sure.
Clearly, this has exceeded expectations. But I do think they could have done some stuff to be better, particularly in the Oceanic space where it was a complete clusterfuck from, anyone could have seen that coming a
It's
mile
a
off.
smaller, it's clearly a smaller kind of market for them, I get that, but one PvP,
One
come
PvP
on
server,
now.
man. You're taking the piss.
But one other thing that's happened, this has been a bit of controversy, everybody.
Which we love.
Look, there are some mods, okay? Now, in WoW
Add-ons.
Classic, add-ons, right? You could have certain add-ons that enhance the experience. It could be a quest finder that allowed you to find where the particular quest was going to get you those particular items or whatever. One was the looking for group. Now, if anyone remembers WoW Classic, going into Orgrimmar and just looking and seeing the chat spam, looking for tank, looking for priest. It was never looking for DBS, there was plenty of DBS, everybody. This is the particular mod that has apparently now been completely taken out.
Yeah, there's an LFG mod that was created, which essentially worked as a matchmaking tool where you would say, here's what I want to do, and then you'd advertise that group. People would see that being advertised in the mod, and then they could just click a button and then sign up to that group, and you can invite them. It automated the group finding process. Blizzard yesterday announced that they're going to be taking that mod out of the game. They're making changes to their API that, stop that from happening. Here's what they said in the statement as to why they're banning that mod. We've been closely following the community discussions around this add-on for WoW Classic, as well as analyzing it to make sure we understand how it works. After careful examination, we believe the nature of Classic LFG is incompatible with our social design for Classic. Thus, in an upcoming patch in the weeks following launch, we'll be adding restrictions to the Classic add-on API that will significantly limit this add-on and others like it. In line with what we shared at BlizzCon last year, we intend to be very careful about allowing add-on functionality that might undermine aspects of the social dynamics that are core to the Classic experience, even in the cases like this where it's clear that the add-on author has no ill intent and was simply trying to provide a service to the Classic community. Ultimately, if a streamlined group finding system was something we considered compatible with Classic, we would have kept the modern pre-made group finder tool rather than choosing to remove it from the Classic client.
Look, with this particular mod, I think it's a different thing. Now, with other mods, like if you want to have a quest finder and you're looking, to find a certain area where that quest is, that's a mod that'll only affect you. With this mod, it's a double whammy here. Number one, you're being less social with the community, and that's what WoW Classic was all about. You jump into Orgrimmar, everyone's talking with each other, there's someone dancing to the left, it's just a huge social community going on. In the chat, looking for groups will be fundamentally affected by that if there is this looking for group mod. And on top of that, if I don't have the looking for group mod and someone else does, then I'm not potentially finding groups that I could have found because a looking for group mod community is getting all those groups together.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, certainly seeing the response to this, it's been quite mixed in the sense that some people are really pissed off about this decision, and they're like, what the hell? Why would you remove player choice? It's got nothing to do with you. You don't have to use this mod. It's not for you, etc., etc. The reality is, a mod like this affects everyone, and it really attacks that core social fabric that underpins an MMO. I think that a lot of the people that don't like this mod haven't played Classic WoW, and I think that I haven't found anyone that's like, I played Classic and I want this mod. It's usually a case of I haven't played Classic and they don't have matchmaking in Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 needs matchmaking, so therefore Classic WoW needs matchmaking, and it's like, alright, I know everything that I need to know about this situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you really have to understand what WoW Classic is. It is going back to the roots. It's a nostalgia experience. It's very much like a Disney remake, in my opinion. This whole yes, there's the video, there's the movie from the 90s. It's about revisiting it, seeing it again. You've grown a bit older, you've experienced different games, you want to go back and just have a real vanilla experience. And I think it'll resonate with a lot of people that have grown up with World of Warcraft. That's exactly what a lot of people are looking to get from this.
For sure.
And also, will it actually stick around? That's the big question. From this huge kind of 1.2 million or whatever on Twitch, all the community's talking about it. It has probably a bit more longevity in it than I would have initially expected.
I think that obviously it's not going to, be as big as this forever, but I do feel as though it's going to find a very strong community, and I feel as though the lessons of WoW Classic are going to have a very big impact on the contemporary MMORPG landscape, because obviously BFA is really broken. It's gotten so far away from what Classic was. Classic remains extremely attractive to this day, in part because it's timeless, but in part because the contemporary MMORPG landscape is not great. There's a really big focus on everything other than the core social aspects that held these games together. Now they're all about the loots and the systems and all this sort of shit. And it's like, WoW Classic was just about this. And I think one of the biggest strengths of Final Fantasy, it's the same sort of thing. It's got a real big focus on just community, social interaction. You're not always on this endless treadmill. You've got time to just enjoy the world rather than constantly needing to grind all the time. WoW Classic was never about endless grind. The leveling experience was, but the end game wasn't about that. It was just being in the world. And I really think that WoW Classic is going to remind people why we fell in love with MMORPGs in the first place, because obviously WoW was the first MMO.
Of course it was. Yeah, I do agree with you. It's going to put that emphasis back on just the world itself, jumping into a world and exploring it, and yes, leveling up along the way. And I do feel like that was my experience with WoW. It was walking into new rooms and exciting areas and going, wow, this is incredible. It wasn't always looking at my experience bar or my gear and going, how powerful am I? It was an aspect. It was an aspect, but it's really about the it's just the incredible experience of World of Warcraft. So look, I'm super excited to see what happens with this. I am going to jump on WoW Classic when I can get through that 20-hour wait time. But until then, guys, love and appreciate ya. Laymen out.